Hey guys, Cam here. There is an incredible new series on Disney Plus called Becoming, and it follows artists and athletes on their journey to becoming the superstars that they are today. Today I'm going to be chatting to Colbie Caillat. I've watched her episode, it's incredible. You definitely need to check it out. Colbie Caillat, it is so good to chat to you.
So good to talk with you.
Honestly, I watched your episode on Becoming on Disney Plus last night. It is so incredible. Tell me a little bit of the premise of the show.
So the show was, I guess, started or executive producer by LeBron James, and it's all about getting to know an artist and how their career started and who they were as children and what they're doing now and the whole process through it. So I loved it. When they asked me to do it with Disney, I instantly said yes. And I think for me it was important because I always wondered if people really knew who I was as an artist or the challenges I went through, how I got started, that I had stage fright, that I really didn't like performing for most of my career. And they have your family interview, your friends, the people that you work with on whatever project you're doing over those years. And it was actually a very therapeutic experience, so I enjoyed it.
I'm so glad. And for me, I grew up listening to your music, absolutely loving it, but all of the things that are featured throughout the documentary, I had no idea were things that were going on in your life. So it's amazing for you to be able to tell that story.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they're doing that with this docu-series, and I'm excited to watch all the other ones and learn about whoever else they're interviewing and hear about their life and be inspired or learn something new, and I'm hoping that my episode can do that for others.
Totally. In terms of watching another person's story, is there anybody who you would really love to see on the docuseries?
Oh my goodness. So many people. I mean, I'm trying to see who I've already seen, documentaries on about them, but I feel like, I don't know, who would you want? Who is someone you would want to?
I'd love to see Billie Eilish.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That would be dope.
She's so fascinating, such a young talent, and just brilliant. So I would want to watch that too. I'm with you.
Wedding. You grew up in a super musical family. Your dad is a music producer, worked with the likes of Fleetwood Mac, which is absolutely wild. What was your first ever memory of music?
I would always see my dad in the studio, and he had this big console in the middle of our living room, and he was always mixing or mastering albums, and I would get to go in the studio with him. He had a record label, so those were all the things that I first saw, and ultimately, growing up in Southern California and listening to Fleetwood Mac, I was not there when my dad was recording them. It was 30 years before or something like that, but or 20 years before, but just growing up with that classic rock music in sunny Southern California, and that was really my biggest influence.
One thing I love about your story is that you did have to persevere through a lot of challenges. There was the setback with American Idol and then the stage fright situation. For somebody who's watching or listening who is going through a situation themselves where they've had a setback, do you have any advice to persevere and keep on going?
I think it's all about, there's timing, that's a factor. There's how much passion you have for it, and a lot of the people that you surround yourself with that are encouraging and that you can learn from. I was very fortunate where my parents were in the music industry, so it was my own dream to be a singer. I don't know if I wanted to be an artist per se, because I didn't think that far, and I had stage fright, so I just wanted to write songs and sing in the studio, and that's it. But because my parents had the knowledge, they put me in vocal lessons and guitar lessons and piano lessons, and my dad taught me about songwriting and song structure. They helped me get a band together when I had to start going on tour. I found my manager through my dad because of who he was working with in, at his record label. So I think for me, you have to choose the right team around you, and you have to love what you're doing, and you have to really stay true to yourself and remember who you want to be. Also be open-minded to expanding that, because we can't just get stuck in our ways. We do need to grow and learn new opportunities. But definitely it's a reason, there's a reason when we get told no for something. It's just not the right path for us, and it's up to us to work harder and move on to the next level.
And for you, with your story, like everything happened so organically, like it was a completely different experience to the route that would have happened if you went through the whole American Idol thing. But like a couple of Grammys, like literally I would say one of the most iconic songs of my generation, like probably. It's wild. Like even when it comes on now, like there's so much like nostalgia with the song now.
Yeah, I love hearing that. Well, thank you. I think it's fascinating for me because that was a song that I really did not expect to be a single, and I don't think it would have been a single if it wasn't on MySpace, because people chose that song, and I think it's because the production style, it was organic and acoustic and very stripped down, and that was refreshing or unique for that time. And I had other songs on the album that I thought for sure maybe a label would want more, but luckily people from around the world on MySpace chose that song. So I have no idea, and I was like a lazy teenager. I wasn't gonna go bring my music to record labels and ask if they wanted to listen to it. My friend put my music on MySpace, and then everything took off from there. So again, I feel fortunate that I had people around me that were supportive and encouraging, and then I played my part as well.
One part from the docuseries that really resonated with me was the advice that you would give to your younger self. And I've written it down. You said, it's okay to be who you are and take your time with everything, which I just think is the best advice that anybody could give anybody. What would you say is the best advice someone has given you?
I mean, I'll always say, like, follow your gut, listen to your gut, and know when to say no. Because, especially when you're starting out, you have to say yes to every opportunity that you're given. And eventually it can wear you out, it can burn you out, it can be oversaturation of what you're doing. And so it took a long time. I hear this from so many artists that you finally feel comfortable being like, no, you know what, that's not right for me. I know how I want to represent myself, what I want to promote, and it's okay for me to say no sometimes.
100%, such good advice. And you've decided to put a bit of a pause on the solo music career, and you're with a band now, which is awesome, Gone West. How is the experience different releasing music in a band as to performing and releasing music solo?
Well, we worked on this band for about 3 years from when we started, and it was with my fiance at the time and my two best friends who were a married couple. And so it was the four of us writing songs here in Nashville, and we produced half the record by ourselves in our house. And it was something I actually always wanted to do because of my stage fright and because I didn't want to be a solo entertainer. I always looked at bands with admiration, thinking they get to experience the highs and lows together. They get to do interviews together and have fun on stage. And so it was something that I really looked forward to, and I was happy that I had that experience. And I also think it's very important for every artist to still have their own individuality at the same time.
Totally. One question I like to ask everybody that I talk to, who is an up-and-coming artist or band that you're listening to right now that you're loving that everybody should check out?
I'm listening to a lot of country music because I'm here in Nashville, and everyone, it's such a small music community, and everyone is friends with everyone. They're supportive of everyone, which is really, it's really amazing to be around that. My friend Tim Montana, he's new up and coming. He's wild. And then I would say like Michael Ray and Matt Stell and Justin Kavika Young.
You've given me some homework. I'm going to check out all of those artists. Colbie Caillat, it's been so amazing chatting to you, and I absolutely love the docuseries. Definitely go and check it out on Disney Plus if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Starts in my toes, makes me crinkle my nose.